Okay, well, thanks for coming out this beautiful summer San Francisco day. For those of you from out of town, it's like this every day in San Francisco year round. I can't really say that compellingly because some of our outer towners are actually from the Bay Area. But thanks everybody for coming out. My name's Ed Riskin. I'm the Director of Transportation here in San Francisco. And among other things, that gives me the great honor and privilege of running our beloved Muni system here in San Francisco. On an average weekday, that means boarding more than 700,000 people. So every day, more than 700,000 people. You add an AC Transit, BART, Samtrans, Caltrain, Golden Gate, and there's a lot of people that the transit agencies of the Bay Area are moving to get to work, to get to where they need to go every day. So transit is a big part of the economy here in the Bay Area, and we feel very honored to be a part of that. But in order to move all those people and in order to move them well, we need to invest in maintaining our assets, our buses, our trains, our systems that support them moving safely and efficiently through the city. And we need to invest in making them better because we want to attract more people to transit, especially as the Bay Area continues to grow. We want transit to be the safest, most effective, most reliable way for people to get around, so people choose to get where they need to go on transit. But to make those kind of investments requires leadership. And we're very fortunate here in the Bay Area to have that kind of leadership. And from the President Obama all the way down through Congress, through the state, and our local and regional leaders, we've had the leadership we need to be able to make and sustain that investment in transit and in transportation in the Bay Area. And we're very lucky for that, and that's the reason that we're here today. And so without further ado, I want to introduce our local leader here, San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Good morning, everyone. You know, one of the most important things that we can do besides what Ed Riskin and the MTA board and all of the staff at MTA have been doing in terms of investing in our system and making it better and better is that to realize that our municipal system is connected to a whole regional system. And so this morning you see in backdrop here a lot of our partners in the whole region. And I want to thank them from Caltrans to Samtrans to everybody here that works together locally, because that is not only important to us as a city, but clearly coming from the U.S. Conference of Mayors just this past week and weekend, we realize cities across the country are looking at our transportation systems and making sure they're connected up appropriately, whether they're regional or state or federal. And so we're doing the right things, whether it's connecting up with Caltrans to make sure our high-speed rails appropriately connected for the future, or connected up in the Transbay Center with our Caltrans and with the AC transit systems here today for the region, whether we're connected up with BART, whether we're connected up with all of the different lines, right down to the bicycle lanes that people want to use and be connected up as well. This connection is so vital to the success of any transit system. And so it's that backdrop that we are part of a great announcement that I don't want to take the thunder from, but I want to welcome here today our Deputy Federal Transit Administrator, Therese McMillan, to make the appropriate announcement, but also to signal that we are here as a city, but as part of a region, in total appreciation for the connectivity that our federal government wants to make sure happens. There's no transit system that exists in and of itself. It has to be connected to every other part of it, because that's the beauty of transit. That's the investment that we make. And as Ed Riskin said, I am eternally grateful to President Obama, to our Leader Pelosi, to Senator Feinstein and Boxer and others, to Jackie Spear's office and others who are working so diligently with us to make these connections so that we can connect up with every other regional transit system. And so with that, please welcome Therese McMillan, our Deputy Administrator for the Federal Transit Authority.
Thank you so much, Mayor Lee. And before we begin with my very good news for this region. The mayor mentioned how important connections are, and I'd like for all of us to recall another connection we have just as a human community and take a moment of silence out of respect for the victims and their families of the Aurora, Colorado tragedy of last Friday. Thanks very much. On behalf of Transportation Secretary LaHood, I am thrilled today to be here to announce quality public transportation in the San Francisco Bay Area, my home region, is about to take another step forward. For the third year in a row, we are announcing funds to help transit agencies across the country modernize and repair their buses and related facilities, bringing these systems into a state of good repair, a commitment the San Francisco Bay Area has had for many, many years. San Francisco and the Bay Area transit providers together are receiving over $45 million collectively to make traveling by transit faster, more efficient, more comfortable, and safer than ever. So congratulations really to all of you for your commitments. The projects here in this region range from replacing old diesel buses in San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Clara, and our neighbors to the south in Monterey. These buses have logged in thousands of miles over many years, and importantly, they're being replaced with clean, fuel-efficient hybrid vehicles that also improves the beautiful environment we all love and respect here. As well, we will be upgrading bus service as part of Muni's rapid network, so it's faster and easier than ever for commuters in Ocean View, Portola, and North Beach to get to downtown San Francisco. So that's a wonderful investment as well. Finally, we have fare box upgrades for AC Transit and real-time transit information systems at BART to improve passenger travel and their experience. To underscore the points made by Ed and Mayor Lee, that making people want to take public transit is key to improving the options that we have for traveling. These awards overall are a big win for everyone because they will reduce highway congestion, improve air quality, and again help this region continue to offer balanced transportation options that increase the livability of this beautiful area. Together, the state of California is receiving more than $125 million for much needed projects of the same nature. Across the country, though, altogether, we are investing $787 million, it's a big number, for projects like this across the country to protect and preserve transportation systems that we've already built. It's important for us, of course, to improve and expand our systems. I'll be speaking in a bit about progress in Washington to that effect. But one of the important priorities of the Obama administration has been to advocate for state of good repair projects that create essential job-creating investments. We're especially pleased in that regard that the new 2-year transportation authorization that the President signed into law in early July, called MAP 21, will continue to fund at a much higher level a true needs-based approach to bus and rail systems for their state of good repair. All of us in this administration fought hard for this bill and its many provisions to strengthen transportation across the country. MAP 21 provides $21 billion for transit capital investments that will create good-paying jobs and put Americans back to work repairing our nation's infrastructure. The bill also provides to us and to our state and local partners flexibility to fund the most important and urgent projects without congressional earmarks. And importantly, for the first time, MAP 21 gives the Federal Transit Administration oversight over transit safety, a long overdue step that will provide Americans with confidence that the subways, streetcars, buses, and light rail systems they ride every day are the safest in the world. We're working very hard now to implement the new law as quickly as we can, And in the weeks and months ahead, we'll be providing much more information and guidance to our partners and stakeholders to help people understand exactly what this all means and to get it working for you. For now, we look forward to work with all of you as we continue to invest in the transportation systems across the country and the need we have to grow and compete, providing opportunities that all Americans deserve. Thanks so much for welcoming me home here to San Francisco to share this news with you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Ms. McMillan. We're always happy to have you come back home. We're happy to have a Bay Area voice in Washington, and especially love to have you here when you're bringing such good news. So feel free to come back anytime. You're always welcome. The leadership that I talked about takes different forms. You heard the Deputy Administrator talk about the MAP 21, that reauthorization, so important to the stability of transportation funding in this country. And it wouldn't have been possible without the leadership from the executive branch, from President Obama and Secretary LaHood, but also the support from the legislative branch. And we're lucky here in the Bay Area to have such strong and committed leadership there, that folks that really understand the infrastructure needs of the Bay Area, understand the importance of transportation and transit in particular to the Bay Area. So we're pleased to have representatives from two of our congressional leaders that represent the Bay Area here today. First, let me ask Verna Patty to come up on behalf of Leader Pelosi.
Congresswoman Pelosi was honored to receive the invitation to today's announcement and regrets that her duties in Washington won't allow her to join us today, but she asked that I read this statement on her behalf celebrating today's announcement. As a transit-first city, San Francisco knows investing in transit is an investment in jobs, people, and communities. Public transportation connects people and places in an accessible and affordable way. It gets people to work on time and kids safely to class. Transit plays a critical role in our daily lives while reducing road congestion, lowering our dependence on foreign oil, and protecting our planet. With an aging infrastructure, it is increasingly crucial that we ensure our public transit remains in a state of good repair so that it can continue to provide safe, efficient, and reliable transportation for millions of American families. Today's announcement by Secretary LaHood and Deputy Transit Administrator McMillan of nearly $25 million for BART and the Municipal Transit Agency will mean cleaner, faster Muni buses and real-time bus and train information at key BART stations. In the face of unprecedented demand, with less than 1 in 5 applications awarded, San Francisco succeeded because it was prepared to pioneer with innovative ideas, entrepreneurial spirit, and a commitment to serving each and every citizen. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you. I love the sound of cleaner, faster Muni buses. I think as recently as a couple months ago, it wasn't clear whether the reauthorization of the transportation bill was going to happen, and I think Leader Pelosi was a big part of in the last couple of months of bringing that home and getting that bill done. So we're very grateful for her leadership. The balance of San Francisco, not represented by the leader, is represented by Congresswoman Jackie Speer, who also represents other parts of the Bay Area, and she's been a great voice in Washington for us as well. So speaking on behalf of her, I want to welcome Brian Perkins.
Good morning. My name is Brian Perkins. I'm a senior advisor to Congresswoman Speer, and she too regrets that she can't be here this morning, but she did ask me to read a brief statement. I want to thank the Federal Transit Administration for investing in a variety of projects in the Bay Area, including hybrid buses for Muni and Samtrans, as well as improvements to Muni that will create a rapid bus corridor. For some, the only answer to our energy needs is more drilling. Production is way up already, and including Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, we were already the new Middle East. I am proud that this administration and the Bay Area are making its point about energy independence by employing Americans in our local bus factory where the hybrid buses will be made, and by investing in public transit to move Americans more quickly through the streets of San Francisco. And as for the 12th Congressional District, the home of companies making diesel fuel from bioengineered algae, for example, we also welcome the challenge of employing Americans using American science, such as hybrid buses or just smart construction, such as dedicated traffic lanes for rapid bus service. Let others endorse technologies and transportation policies that cause massive blowouts in the Gulf and that soil our nation's landscapes. We're San Francisco. We're the Bay Area. We simply know better. And what we know best is that moving America through a strong mass transit system is the wisest choice for our country. I want to thank the Federal Transit Administration for sharing our vision of strengthening mass transit through innovation. Cordially yours, Jackie Spear, Congresswoman.
So as grateful as we are for the support from Washington, the support locally is important too, and counties around the Bay Area have really stepped up in support of transit and transportation, certainly including San Francisco, where the voters have approved and then reauthorized the half-cent sales tax. That half-cent sales tax funds a significant part of Muni's capital needs, as well as many other parts of the transportation infrastructure of the cities. That is managed, among other transportation planning functions, by the San Francisco County Transportation Authority, and very pleased to have our partner in transportation here in San Francisco, its Executive Director, Jose Luis Moscovich, here to say a few words.
Good morning. Let me clarify that I am here representing the chairman of the board of the San Francisco County Transportation Authority, Commissioner and Board of Supervisors member David Campos, who is not able to attend today. So I will be wearing 4 hats, my own, but of course Commissioner Campos's hat as chair of our board, member of the Board of Supervisors, and also as a representative of the Board of Supervisors on the Metropolitan Transportation Commission. But personally, I am delighted to be here today, and I really wish to extend a very warm welcome back to the Bay Area to FDA Deputy Administrator Therese McMillan. I am, in doing that, not just welcoming a very distinguished guest, but also a personal friend and colleague, very esteemed colleague. The Bay Area has just reached the end of an extensive 2-year effort to develop the region's first combined regional transportation plan and sustainable communities strategy, effectively linking, I would say for the first time, land use and transportation through investment and infrastructure to concentrate new growth in areas which can effectively be served by transit. This is something that Therese is no stranger to. For many, many years, she advocated for that locally, and now she's doing that very effectively as part of the Obama administration. And this is an administration that understands that a country cannot move forward without due investment in its infrastructure, particularly its transportation infrastructure, which is the lifeblood of the urban centers that are the dynamo of the 21st century economy. Like the Obama administration, we understand the importance of maintaining what we have. Over 80% of the regional plans revenues are directed toward fix it first. This high level of investment continues a long-established partnership where local and state dollars leverage federal dollars. In fact, at the Transportation Authority, over the last few months, we have acted to invest millions of dollars of the sales tax that we administer in transit infrastructure, both in the current system to keep it in a state of good repair, and also to enhance the system so that transit is prepared to take on its share of forecast growth in the near future, which is quite significant. Just last week at the Plans and Programs Committee, there was an approval of design funds for the SFMTA to procure 90 40-foot hybrid motor coach buses in anticipation of the very good news that we received today from the FDA. We know from first-hand experience that replacing vehicles that are past their useful life with new vehicles may be the single most important performance benefit we can offer to riders in terms of its immediate and direct impact on providing reliable service. In fact, in 1999, we partnered with the FDA and with the state and MTC to renovate the entire Muni fleet. We leveraged $500 million, and 18 months later, on-time performance shot up 20%. So we know that this works. Similarly, in San Francisco, we have endorsed programming of state bond funds and Lifeline Transportation Programming, matching Prop K sales tax funds for the 8X Mobility Maximization Project. This is really a project that we believe is going to make a huge difference in the quality of service in the city. Again, we are delighted that these two projects are coming to fruition, and we are very honored and happy to thank the FTA for its continued partnership and its efforts on behalf of the nation's transit infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose Luis. Jose Luis mentioned the importance of maintaining what we have. And we've been speaking mostly about capital investment, and that's critically important to upgrading and replacing old infrastructure, outdated buses and trains. But we also need to invest our operating dollars, and I'm very pleased that for the two-year fiscal cycle that started this month, the MTA Board of Directors approved a budget that includes substantial investment in the maintenance of our system, of our buses and trains and our rails and overhead wires and signals and switches. And this is not sexy stuff. Putting money into maintenance of existing equipment is not sexy, but it's extremely important. And the SFMTA board showed its leadership and really putting its money where its mouth was, investing our local operating dollars into the maintenance of the system that support this larger state of good repair investment that is so strongly and welcomingly supported by the FTA. So I'm pleased to bring up a representative from our board, the vice chairman of the board, Cheryl Brinkman.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of the SFMTA Board of Directors, I want to thank Deputy Administrator McMillan and the FTA for providing these critical funds for San Francisco's transit future. I also want to thank our congressional delegation for their ongoing efforts to fight for funds that keep transit moving throughout our region, not just our city, and providing bluer skies and better access for all to jobs and recreation. And a big thank you to our local leadership, Mayor Lee and Supervisor Campos, who's not here, represented by Jose Luis, especially Supervisor Campos' capacity as chair of the County Transportation Authority, for their focus on improving Muni, our transit system, and making it a transit choice that people want to take instead of transportation of last resort. Both grant awards, more than $6 million for improved bus facilities via the Livability initiative and $15 million for the new low-floor buses, electric hybrid buses, are going to support and further the SFMTA's plans for improved frontline transit service throughout San Francisco. I happily and proudly serve on the SFMTA Board of Directors, but if you had told me a few years ago how much time I would spend thinking about buses and transportation systems, and that when I visit another city I envy and covet not only their buses but the transportation systems they have, I wouldn't have believed you. Muni's Rapid Network, which is a program of enhancements to our existing transit service along the most heavily traveled corridors, is going to improve service reliability, reduce travel time, which is incredibly important, and enhance the customer experience of not only our existing riders, but the riders that we want to add going forward. The investments to optimize the existing service and enhance the customer experience are really going to help us grow this ridership, and that's what we're really looking for. By fostering the development of a premier service, we're going to provide more transportation choices, we're going to support and value existing communities and neighborhoods, promote lower transportation and living costs, and enhance economic competitiveness. We have one of the oldest bus fleets in the nation, and we need to upgrade and update this fleet, and we will do so over the next 8 to 10 years. This $15 million provided by the federal government in the State of Good Repair Grant is going to allow us to replace 18 of our 20-year-old buses, and they're going to play an important role in expanding Muni's Rapid Network service. The new buses will be 40-foot long, low floor, as this bus behind me is, biodiesel-electric hybrids. They're going to be 30% more fuel efficient, and they're going to emit 95% less particulate matter, 40% less nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide, and 30% less greenhouse gas. A greener fleet and a more efficient Muni system means less congestion, a reduction in harmful emissions, and an improved quality of life. And it means that the people who come visit San Francisco, both from within the region and internationally and domestically, are going to look at our fleet and be envious, and are going to look at our transportation network and hopefully say, we can take this home and do it. We'll be a laboratory for a lot of the rest of the region and the country. So thank you again, Deputy Director, and thank you, Mayor, for your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. So today's announcement is not just good news for San Francisco, it's really good news for the entire country. But here in the Bay Area, as many of us have referenced, we are part of a network of transportation providers, each one working together with the other. So we're pleased to have some of our partners in delivering transit service to the Bay Area here today. And I want to ask them to come up and say a few words. We'll start with the Vice President of the BART Board of Directors, Tom Radulovich.
Thanks everyone for coming out. This is fantastic news. I've been on the BART Board of Directors for 15 years now, and really tried to make reinvestment in our system priority one. And it's great to hear that echoed back. I think that reinvestment in our system, keeping our system in a state of good repair, is priority one at BART. And then increasingly, it is also the tune we're hearing from Muni. And I think what you've heard this morning is that Muni's putting a lot of their own operating money into those state of good repair measures. Well, so is BART. And it's because we need to. There's huge demand on transit, despite what, we need to be reminded as a weak economy. I live in the Mission, so I need to be reminded it's a weak economy. Ridership is booming on BART. We are setting records virtually every week in terms of ridership. And so we need to keep this system in a state of good repair. We need to expand our system so that we can carry more riders on the lines that we're currently running. And we need to rethink our system as we reinvest in other ways. So can we make our system more accessible, like the bus you see behind you? Low floor technology is really the future in terms of making transit accessible to all. Can we make it cleaner? And better environmentally performing, as just like this bus you see behind you. So you've heard a lot about that at Muni. One of the big pieces in this grant award for BART is real-time transit information. And real-time transit information is a fantastic way of taking the 24 transit systems that we have in the region and making them function for the riders as one system. I get thanked all the time for the Clipper card. It actually wasn't our doing, it was MTC's doing. But the fact that nobody really knows whose card it is, but that it works on all these systems is really kind of a triumph. And I think we need to do the same thing with the actual physical connections between transit systems. If you can coordinate schedules, if you can coordinate fares, if you can physically coordinate it, get make these transfers seamless, make them painless, take out the guesswork for riders, you really take this vast investment that we've made as a region, and you make it work that much better for riders. So we will probably still have 24 transit agencies 15 years from now. But I think the good news for riders is increasingly it won't matter. It's going to be a seamless ride from point A to point B. And if we're going to convince folks to get out of their cars and onto transit, that's the way it's got to be. It's got to feel seamless. It's got to be timely, and it can't leave you guessing. So with these investments today, we're one step closer. Just really wanted to thank again FTA and Therese for that strong emphasis on state of good repair, really making sure that we can sustain what we have in the region. And what we have in the region is a pretty great thing, considering where we were as a region 40 years ago when we didn't have BART, when we were tearing up light rail lines and so on. The reinvestment in the system has been tremendous, and we need to keep it up. Also, our leadership in Congress, who really just steadfast defenders of public transit and of moving folks, and of all of my colleagues in transportation, doing what we can to make this system work for all of you. So thanks again, all of you.
Thanks, Tom. And representing our transit agency to the south, Samtrans board member and Redwood City Council member, representing Samtrans, Jeff G.
Well, good morning. On behalf of our board, our organization, and the San Mateo County community, I want to thank our federal representatives for their commitment to San Mateo County and our transportation infrastructure, and more importantly, to our region's economic and environmental health. The State of Good Repair grant funding will allow Samtrans to upgrade our fleet of buses with the latest diesel-electric buses, as you see and everyone's talked about. It truly is a win-win-win for all of us. Our ridership gets a better ride, Our community enjoys less diesel emissions from a new fleet of buses, and our organization and our taxpayers will find ourselves paying less for fuel and maintenance costs. So it's really a great win-win-win opportunity for all of us. Just as importantly, with this grant, we get to create more Bay Area jobs. These buses will be built right here in Hayward by Gillard Corporation and exceeds all the Buy American clauses. In total, with this grant and other funding, SamTrans will be replacing and purchasing 62 new buses. And someone said earlier they have thousands of miles on it. These buses actually have hundreds of thousands of miles on these buses. And having these new great greener buses are truly going to be a win for everyone in the community. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone at the federal level and the regional level. This is a great win for SamTrans and for our region. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our partner to the east, AC Transit, who today is represented by my colleague on the Trans-Bay Joint Powers Authority Board and the president of the AC Transit Board, Elsa Ortiz.
Good morning. As president of the AC Transit Board of Directors and on behalf of my fellow board members, I want to thank the Federal Transit Administration and Deputy Administrator McMillan for showing an understanding of our needs as a public agency by presenting AC Transit with a $7.5 million grant that will help us maintain bus reliable service. I also want to thank our East Bay Congressional delegation led by Representative Barbara Lee for always supporting our efforts and for working so hard on our behalf to secure this grant. We know that without Congresswoman Lee's help, our perpetual fight for funding will be much tougher. AC Transit will use this grant funding to replace our existing fare box system and their support equipment. Fare boxes are a required element for recording and collecting cash fares on our buses. System failures not only result in lost fare revenues, but also costly maintenance expenses for repair and interruption of service. AC Transit will buy fare boxes, the associated cash valid receiver equipment for storage, as well as server equipment to manage the system and track fares received. Replacement will bring AC Transit's fare system into a state of good repair and enable us to provide our customer with most reliable transit service. Again, thank you, Deputy McMillan, and to our congressional delegation for your leadership and steadfast support for public transit. We will put this funding to very good use. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll end by just echoing Elsa's last phrase, and I think I can speak on behalf of all the transit agencies. We will absolutely put these dollars to good use. We'll spend them efficiently, and they will translate into direct rider benefit. So thank you again for bringing us this good news. Thank you, everybody else, for sharing with us, and thanks for coming out.